Welcome to the Easy Computer Fixes, and today we're going to talk about malware and viruses and how to prevent infection on your computer. Um, there's a lot of, false ideas about how Windows is easy to infect. A lot of people, in the Mac world, they'll always say, oh, Windows is crappy and it has all these viruses. And the funny thing is, I actually fix computers, Mac computers with viruses. And basically, it's the lack of viruses that's not making any problem in the Mac side, not the fact that it is more secure. Because the habits of Mac users are pretty much the same as Windows users. And so if there would be the same amount of viruses, they'd be infected like PC users that don't observe rules. So how easy to infect a Windows machine? Well, first of all, it is very easy if you aren't careful and click everywhere and download everything. And that is how PCs are made. The same idea that a PC is an open system, that you can do pretty much everything you want, is also what makes it vulnerable, and that's why viruses are a problem for some users, because it depends on what you do. And I did say some users, because some other users never see a virus all of their lives. Why? It depends on what you do on the web. It depends on how you want to secure the machine. If you look at different security features and make sure they are working well. So what do you have to look for? First of all, you need an antivirus software. On Windows 8, Windows Defender. If you have Windows 7, Vista, or an old XP machine, well, find yourself a antivirus software. On Windows 7, Windows Vista, you can install Security Essentials from Microsoft if you don't want to pay for an antivirus. There's also AVG free. If you want to be a little more secure, it is true that a paid antivirus is better than a free one. And so take a peek on the channel. I have some tests of antiviruses. And, an antivirus like Not32 or Bitdefender, or maybe even, the new Norton 360 is actually quite amazing. I had really bad experience in the past with Norton, but they seem to really have improved a lot. So an antivirus software that is up to date and working, that's very important. A lot of people have an antivirus that's their subscription is over, and they still see the icon. They just don't understand that after the subscription it ends, well, you're not protected anymore. So make sure that in the update section that you see that it's updated, as we are, for example, today, November 19. I see that my Windows Defender here is updated as of November 19. That's the first thing. Second thing, very important, make sure your Windows updates are really working. That's another big problem. There's false information out there that some people actually say, oh, I don't update with Windows Update because apparently it brings viruses. False. That is not true. No, it's actually the opposite. Windows Updates protects you a lot from viruses. You know that if you have all updates installed, you probably already are secure against 80 to 90% of viruses, because a lot of the viruses actually use a flaw in Windows or on some other software like Flash or Adobe Reader or Java. They need a flaw. They can't really install if there's no flaw. So Windows Updates actually patches all the holes in Windows. And so every month we have what we call Update Tuesday, which is the monthly updates that Microsoft will roll out, a series of updates. And actually November 2014 is actually a big month. many flaws, including one that was a problem since Windows 95 actually. So make sure these updates are done. If you're not sure, go into your, if you're in Windows Vista, Windows 7, Windows XP, just go and in the little search box you can have at the bottom, type Windows Update. You can type, Windows Update. And there is going to bring you to the Windows Update, and you can not only see the different updates in the Windows Updates, but you can also see the update history. On the left side, you have View Update History, and you can check that and make sure that, for example, we are in the month of November. Why not check if in the month of November you got updates? You see that all my updates here have been installed, and it says succeeded, and it tells you important or recommended. And the important ones are very important. They are usually fixes for viruses. Now, you might have seen that in the page that I was in the update, there was an optional update. And this, usually, I never recommend to install optional updates. A lot of people tend to want to install this. Don't do it. Optional updates are optional. So unless they really want to install, you can, just leave them optional and don't install these. They usually have, options for language packs and all sorts of optional settings that your computer can process, but usually they're not required. And if an update is very important, it'll eventually show up as a must-do update. So make sure that your updates are installed. If they are not, click the check for updates, and if it tells you that many updates are going to be installed, please install them. Make sure that these are done and that you are up to date. This will protect you a lot. What else can you do to prevent malware and virus infections? Well, be reasonable, be intelligent. Look at what you're doing on the web and, think about all actions. You are the #1 antivirus on the computer. The human interaction is much more powerful. Your mind, your brain is much more powerful in knowing what's right and what's wrong than any software in your computer. So, are you downloading illegal software, illegal files, music, movies? Are you going to those weird websites to check on the latest and TV shows? Well, you know that these are very risky sites. And I do have many people that I have actually had to clean their computer from malware and viruses, and that caught them on these websites. So this is a bad habit and should not be done. And it's not just the fact that it's a bad habit in computer, but it's also stealing, and it's also something that your internet service provider is actually monitoring. People go to these sites and say, oh, wow, cool, I see all these shows. Yeah, but your internet service provider might be actually looking at that. And in some countries, you can actually, receive the visit of or a letter, telling you, well, you're stealing and you hold this X amount of money or so because you stole content. So, that's a bad habit, and a lot of people that actually download are the ones that get caught with malware. And you know what? You're trying to save because you don't want to buy, the latest TV shows or movies, and then you have to pay $100 for a tech to come and fix your computer. Well, with that, you probably have a few TV shows that you could buy on DVD. So, it's not really worth it. Second of all, make sure that when you want to download some software that you go on the website of the manufacturer of the software. For example, I've seen a few people that use different, Google is good at trying to remove bad links to search results, but some people sometimes will, okay, I want iTunes because I have an iPod, an iPhone, an iPad. And iTunes is made by Apple. So remember that if you go on a website, make sure you go into apple.com. Beware of the ads. You see that Google has ads, and there's that little square. Here is a yellow square. It says ad. Beware of these ads because these are often bad. Not all the time. For example, here's Flash Player. Look at here. There's Flash Player, download the latest Flash Player, but it comes from something called softplanet.com/Flash Player free. I never click that. Don't click anything that's an ad. And try to find who makes a piece of software. Flash Player is made by Adobe. Adobe, look at here, just the second link. This one is get.adobe.com. You know you're on the Adobe website here. Adobe.com. The third one also, adobe.com. Even the fourth one, adobe.com. Make sure you go to the proper website. If you click on the first link, softplanet.com, I'll click for you just to see where we are. Now, this might actually give you Flash Player with a lot of other bad stuff. Some of these websites are okay, but a lot of them are not. And look here on the right side how this is no good. It says click here to download. Look how it wants to lure me at the top to click download now on Flash Player here. There's just so much bad stuff that can happen by doing that. Make sure you don't go there. It's very important to know where a piece of software comes from. If you're not sure, ask a friend that knows more about computers than you before you do so. And this is going to save you a lot of time. Of course, one of the big recommendations that I give out is uninstall Java. Java is not needed anymore for almost anything you do on the web. It used to be needed for a lot of stuff, including online games, but Java is slowly being phased out by pretty much everybody. And Java has these tremendous amounts of updates because it is targeted so much for viruses. Why? Because Java is a programming language. It can execute programs. So, somebody out there will execute a little virus in Java that will infect your machine, open holes in your firewall, and do some mad stuff and, download new malware, or just, stay put and you don't even know you're infected and it's stealing your data when you're going online shopping and stuff like that. So I recommend to uninstall Java. If you really need it, because there are few exceptions where people need it, make sure that you're up to date to the latest version of Java. If you're not sure if you're up to date, simply go to the web page java.com. Don't search for it, type it in the address bar, java.com. Make sure that you have the latest version and just click that red button to download it, and so on. Here it says we're at version 8 update 25. That's the latest version. You should be at version 8 update 25. You're not, go into your program, go into the control panel and the programs and features and uninstall Java. I don't have it on my machine. I removed it a long time ago. Why not remove it from your computer? If you don't miss it, then it's okay, and there's a good chance you don't even know that it's not there. And if you need it, make sure you have Java 8 update 25. Sometimes Java will show up as multiple versions in the programs. Remove everything that you see that's from Java if you're not sure, and then go into java.com and download the latest version they have there. At least you'll have the latest version, you'll have a good version. So you got to be careful with that. As we said, make sure you install all the important updates on your computer, and Don't click anything on the web that's going to say, oh, please install Flash Player because you need that for this content. You know what? If you have this weird looking window that is trying to lure you to install Flash Player, remember one thing. If you're using Google Chrome, first of all, Flash is pre-installed inside. You don't need an external Flash Player. If you're using Internet Explorer 11, Flash Player is already pre-installed. So you don't need it in most cases because it is already integrated into the web browser. But if you do need it, don't click a link on a web page, not even on YouTube. Go directly to adobe.com, and over there at adobe.com you'll see that at the bottom you have something called downloads. If you click downloads at the bottom, it's very small. You'll see that on the right side, Adobe Reader, Adobe Flash Player. These are what you'll need. Select them from here. Make sure you're always on adobe.com. So these are all recommendations. Next, well, make sure that if you go to a website, download a game, download software you need, make sure that it's correct. Another thing that's very, very important, look at, for example, if I want to have install Flash Player here. When you install Flash Player, so this one's a bad example because it tells me I already have it, but let's go to Adobe Reader, an example. Anytime you want to download a piece of software, make sure you remove these little check marks. You see here there's the install button at the bottom right, but in the middle there's this little check mark that says going to install McAfee Security Scan Plus. You know, every time you install software, remove all the check marks of everything. Go slowly. Don't do just next, 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 finish. That's it. You might have other software. A lot of software today to actually pay the expense of the website and the servers and all of that will actually bundle something else with it because they get paid for it. And you don't want to have that extra. You want to have only what you want. So remove the check marks of everything that wants to install with the software you want to get. Be careful where you go. Make sure that you do regular scans with your antivirus in your computer. Make sure that everything seems to work well. That's very important. And you know what? That little gut feeling you have inside when something goes wrong, follow your instincts. I would say that probably 1 in 2 clients that I had to fix malware on the computer, remove malware, told me, oh, before I clicked, I thought it was funny or it was strange. And you know what? They already knew that something was normal and they clicked anyway. Follow your instinct. They are very, very important. So these are the general tips. Try to be careful. Don't click anywhere, that you don't know of, and make sure that you download the software from the manufacturer's website, not from anywhere else. And if you follow these general rules, and most people actually are virus free. On my computer I'm virus free, and I don't really, I'm careful what I do. The only times I had malware on this computer was because I intentionally installed it so that I could do a video to show you how to remove it. So these are the general rules that you have to follow on your computer. So hope this helps and that you will be, virus free, malware free. So if you enjoy our videos, why not subscribe to our channel? You'll be informed when new videos are online. If you have any comments, questions on what you've seen, let us know. And maybe you have a feature of Windows that you'd like us to, or Mac, or maybe even on iOS or Android that you'd like us to make a video to help you. Let us know. We'll try to post that video online. Thanks for watching.